Greetings, people of YouTube. This is Chaos 0.25. This is a beta version of it, so hence the lion over here is not animated yet. He's kind of frozen. You know who else is frozen? This spider. So there's 3 new creatures that are coming with 0.25. One of them is Hellhound, Mr. Hellhound. Look at that sexy beast. He's an undead creature. 3 heads, can shoot stuff from distance, which is... Actually, it's kind of ironic. It's his action, I believe. Again, this is before the patch notes are released. This is the beta version of the game, or whatever. The beta version of the update, like, you know, work in progress update thing. So most of the things I'm going to mention here is just the way I understood they work. So, this guy has a range attack and a sort of a direct attack. So, the range attack, I believe, can either kill, or if it doesn't, there's a chance for it to freeze the creature or whatever the paralyze them. There we go, paralyzing stare. Because when I hit this our friend the spider here, what happened is the spider didn't. It said that the spider failed. The attack on the spider failed. See, it didn't succeed, so it didn't kill him, but instead it turned him to stone. And I actually don't know how long the Stone Age here stays, but for now, at least, the thing is frozen. So also, like I said, the guy's undead. And probably the prettiest looking undead so far. Another new thing, before I move to other creatures, is that now the wizards, by default, if I'm not mistaken, this is something I was actually mentioning before in my videos that I think should exist, they can attack the undead, just by default. So, any wizard can go up to undead and smack him, at least in this version. You can see that we don't have any weapon, but we have 27% chance to kill the Hellhound. Now, the other new creatures. So we got the lion here, who is not yet animated, but I believe when the patch comes out, when it's updated, when the game is updated to 0.25, he's going to be like a full animated creature. Right now, he doesn't even walk, I think. Let me actually pass over to... Whose turn is it? Do we have another? Let's make another Hellhound, because why not? There we go. And he climbs out of the ground, which is really cool animation. Alright, so, let's make this pass. And where are we now? Player 2. Oh! This guy just came out of his paralysis. Did he? No, he's still paralyzed. Oh, I think the animation isn't really neat. Oh yeah, there you go. It says paralyzed here. Let's see if it also explains... How do we get out of the paralysis? Cannot move or attack and defense is halved. Must make a magic resistance check each turn to be freed. Okay, so kind of like the web. Again, very similar to the web mechanic, except that it's paralysis and he's paralyzed. But I think there's a bug right now where the coating disappears. But again, this is work in progress, so please keep that in mind. To prove that any wizard is now anti-undead, there we go, kill that illusion to hell. I want to get to the lion buddy here. Okay, there we go. So the lion man can walk 3. Let's actually open up his info screen. Again, he doesn't appear yet. And he has a leap ability, which allows him to go up or down a cliff. And if he leaps down, then his attack is, I think, doubled. Yeah, so instead of 40 attack, if he leaps down at someone, they're going to have 80 attack, which is pretty big for a creature of that cost, which is like 70, I believe. Let's move this very stationary lion around. Oop. Okay, and let's get ourselves another new creature, the 3rd new creature, which is the Pegasus. So the Pegasus, let's make an illusion. So where's the maximum boost here? Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Let's get the Pegasus. There we go. It's a big one, giant wings. So the Pegasus is kind of the low equivalent of the Manticore. The difference being it's slightly more fragile. I believe it also has. Let's look at the Pegasus here. It has more magic defense or magic power, so which is I think probably the same level as the Wizard or something. No, it just has 125. Let's compare it to the Lion, for example, here, whose magic power is 20. So it is very magic resistant, but otherwise low defense, only 40. Well, I say only, but it's probably like most creatures have 40 defense. I don't know, what is this guy's defense? 40 as well. So it's not exactly hard to kill. in terms of its like regular defense, and it can travel I think 4 squares as opposed to 5, which is the Manticore's range. Is it Manticore's range 5? No, the Manticore is also 4. I don't think I'm just making that up. The main difference is it doesn't have a range attack, unlike Manticore. And, but if, for example, it's standing here and someone attacks my wizard, I believe it works for wizards as well, but it definitely works for creatures, it dies instead of that creature. So think of it like a paladin, but if paladin's reaction is aggression to attack on someone else, the Pegasus reaction is to take, to sacrifice themselves for that creature or that wizard. And obviously it's a mount, like I mentioned before. It's an equivalent of the low equivalent of a Manticore, so a flying mount. So those are the 3 creatures that we have. So a undead hellhound, neutral lion, and law Pegasus. Another thing that changed, well, there's several things that changed, but one of them is the new line of sight system. There's a pretty decent breakdown on the forum. I'm not going to go into it right now, but it's been simplified and it's sort of more predictable now, and even tells you here, for example, what is your height, and depending on the height and the height difference, you can determine whether something may or may not have a line of sight. And the creatures have now like specific height. It's one, I think, on 1 or 2. The terrain has like 1 or 2, and those add up, and you get that predictability into the game, where you realize beforehand whether something is going to work or not, whether something's going to be a good cover, or other way around, whether you can reach your opponent somewhere if they're hiding from you, etc. Another thing that has been changed, there's some visual stuff, so you can tell the maps a bit different. I think this is not just because it's Chaos, but actually I don't know if this is just a lot of the stuff seems bluer. I'm not sure if it's just this sort of version, the work in progress version of the patch, but there's like they look a bit different. They're just the terrain itself, and there's been visual effects added. For example, to the teleport looks different, a bit nicer. The arrow shooting is different and has like other effects accompanying when you shoot an arrow. Actually, I'm not sure I have an arrow. I burned a lot of cards here, so I'm not sure I can actually show you what an arrow looks like. But take my word for it. I'm not lying. Okay, so yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, it's gonna take too long to find a bow so we can shoot some arrows. And probably the most important difference from the other versions of Chaos, and for that, to show that, we need to actually do I need to surrender with everybody? Yeah, I think I'm playing 4 human match. We need to probably just keep surrendering until there is nothing left to surrender, unless there is another way of getting out of this, and I just don't know. But it's the ranking system. So if you ever played something like, I think this is our last surrender here. If you played Hearthstone, for example, it's very similar, but obviously shorter and slightly faster to ascend the career ladder, the ranking ladder. So let's leave this game and go to online multiplayer. There's people actually playing it right now, even in this beta form. And you can see this red here displayed. Oh, everything disappeared. Okay, so it bugged out a bit. Let's see if we can go back and... Yeah, there we go. So it's all back. You start at level 9 and you can go up to level 1. I believe this is like you're the Rat King or something like that. So you get like a little creature. It even looks a bit like Hearthstone art, to be honest. And you collect the stars. Again, similarities here. And you go from 9 to 1. Each wizard killed is a star. So for example, you could play ranked for a 4-person game, and if you win, I think if you win that game, no, if you kill all 3 wizards, then you get 3 stars. I believe that's how it works. It's not actually how much you win, but how many wizards you kill. If I remember this correctly, it could be, I could be wrong, but I think that's how I remember it. And it's really cool. I was waiting for this to happen, for there to be sort of like the leaderboards. They're not really leaderboards in the sense that you can't go and see what's going on and who is where, but you at least know what your rank. Again, kind of like Hearthstone doesn't really have leaderboards, but like, you know that someone is whatever rank 5 or rank whatever in legendary, etc. So here you can go up to rank 1, which is something I'm going to be doing in like 30 minutes. I'm gonna start streaming this. That's pretty much the main stuff. I'm not saying this is the only things, but the ones that I've managed to notice while playing this this version. And again, this is just my impressions and interpretations of things, and there could be more that I haven't seen. Oh, actually, big thing I almost forgot is the turn is randomized now. The first turn is randomized, and you also, if you start second or third or fourth, you get mana as a reward, sort of as a balancing thing, which is again something I was together with other people suggesting, and it's really cool that now that is also in the game, and I think that's going to do good things for the balancing. Again, so those are things I've found and interpreted rather freely. Do not take them for, you know, the truth. Wait for the actual version of the game to come out and look at the patch notes, etc. Hope you enjoyed this video, and hope you are also looking forward, like me, for this to drop in stable version on Steam probably next week, sometime next week, possibly early next week. Again, hope you enjoyed. If you did so, please consider supporting this video in any way you can. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.